Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the one, the only dude. Now today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over a lot of things. Okay, we're going to be going over Bitcoin. Bitcoin is headed to 16,000. After it hits 16,000, it is going to go to 9,000. We're going to go over the analysis. We're going to go over what we see, what we know what's going to happen, not think. We're not like other channels where we think something is going to happen or where we just have a feeling. No, when we go by the charts, we do not go by feelings. We do not go by I feel this is going to happen. No, we go by we know this is going to happen. We go by confidence, and we know the chart is telling us this because we're reading the chart. Now we're going to go over this. Now while all the moon boys and everyone's probably going to come on this channel and be like, no, Bitcoin is headed to 30,000. Well, I'm going to give you guys every scenario. The moon boys and the bullish guys are going to get wrecked. I want as many people to see this video so that people do not get wrecked trying to be bulls on Bitcoin. So let's get over it. Let's get right into it. So over here we're on a Bitcoin. Okay, we're on a Bitcoin chart. Okay, so what we see here is we see this. Okay, so I drew this already. So we see like a bear flag here, right? So we drew this here. And we drew this here. We put these right here, these trend lines. And what we did is we measured from the top to the bottom, right? And we moved that over here. Now, typically what this does is this kind of gives you an idea of where price is going to go when it breaks out of these trend lines, right? Out of this bear flag. And where did we go? We ended up going to, we ended up dropping down to 28,000. Now, we ended up using it as support, right? So as soon as we dropped on this line, it started being used as support, right? You see that, guys? You see that? Right over here, it was used as support. I mean, it broke down, of course, but here, support, 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 and then it finally broke out of that support with strong volume, retested it, and after it made its descent down. So, so that just shows how powerful these bear flags are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over this one. Okay, now this one kind of gives you guys more of an idea of how powerful these things are. So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw a weird looking flag, right? Just a square like that. We'll just keep it like this one's a little bit harder to measure, harder to draw. We'll just keep it like this. The point is going to get across. All right, we'll measure it down here. All right, and then after that, we'll move it down. And where did it drop to? Well, you would have known this if you just did that little simple drawing on the chart, right? So it dropped, and where did it use as support? It used this as support, this, and then it broke, right? Also used it on the other end, the other side, right? It used it on this bear flag right here. And that's pretty much it, but it just shows you how powerful these things are. Okay, so so that's just an idea of how these work. Okay, so with these measurements, we know Bitcoin went down to 28,000, used that as support, and then it used it as support on the other flag, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to erase this, right? We want to keep this chart as clean as possible. I want you guys to see exactly what's going on. And we do the same thing here, okay? Once we do these measurements, I'm going to show you guys. You get a measurement, you draw it, and you just put it there, okay? Right here, this measurement, okay? Now, what we did is we ended up measuring it, right, to the mouth, to the close, and we moved it right over here. And where did it drop? Ended up dropping on this red line. I didn't even put it down correctly. Okay, ended up dropping. It ended up dropping on this red line, okay? And where is that red line? It was at a point of the wick came and touched there. Look at how powerful these things are, to the point that it even came to the same level. Now, that level, if you guys notice, okay, well, I erased it, but every time I drew the support, right? Every time I drew the support of where the bear flag went down on measurements, like right here, or where is it? Right here. One second. Okay, I'm getting lost in my thoughts. All right, but you guys get the point. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this measurement, right, came down here. Typically, it ends up breaking through that level, right? And then it gave us a measurement of where it's going to drop to. It ended up breaking that. It came down to another bear flag. What do you guys think is going to happen? What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think it's just not going to touch that red line? We are getting so close to touching that red line, right? And what's going to happen once we touch that red line? Well, we're at triple resistance over here. We have the red line from support. Then we have flipped as resistance. Then we have another trend line, and I'm going to show you guys this. Okay, if we go all the way back to 2021 of March, we measure from the top to the bottom. Look at all this. Look at how it was respected. It was respected here. It was respected here. Here. It was respected as resistance and resistance. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? All right. So basically, that's already another confirmation. So we have first confirmation, which is right here, which is down right here at this trend line, right? And we also have the bear flag. Okay, so we have the yellow line, which is the bear flag. We have the measurement from the bear flag from here. And we also have a trend line going back to 2021 of March. So typically what's going to happen is Bitcoin is either going to hit here. That's double resistance, guys. Anytime you guys have double resistance, it's very likely for it to drop. And we have another resistance here, but this one is triple. So technically, Bitcoin does not just go up at one line. Typically, it goes something like this, then it hits it, right? But just keep in mind, once it hits there, where we're going is from the measurement, from measuring from here, from the mouth to the close, and we measure it here. Let's say Bitcoin went up here, okay, it went up here, and then it started dropping, right? Well, then we'll move our measurement here, but it might break out here because typically it has big drops. And where does that drop lead to? Well, that drop leads to a price of 19,000. So first we're heading down to $19,000. Once we head down to $19,000, well, our next target, well, the next point Bitcoin will drop is down here to 16,000, right? And then what's after 16,000? Well, guess what? 9,500 is next. Okay. Now, how do I know this? Well, we're going over it, right? So we're gonna go over another chart how I came up with that price label of 9,600. So how did we get this green line here? Okay, how did we get another label of 16,000? Let me show you. So when we go over here and we do a measurement from how much it dropped from breaking the flag, it dropped a total of 36%. Okay. How much did it drop here? From breaking all the way down, it dropped 39%. Okay. And what about here? It dropped 29%. So we have 36%, 39%, and 29%. Now, what will happen when Bitcoin breaks out of this flag? Well, let's do the measurement. That's how we got the price label. We're going to measure from here, from the breakout, and we're going to go down to 36%. That gets us a label of $14,000. Okay? And then we're going to measure it, the 29% that we just went over on the first example. Let's actually keep it at 28%. Well, that gets us to 16,184. Let's actually go to the 29% mark. That gets us to 16,088 flat. Okay. So typically Bitcoin drops anywhere between 30% to 40% out of these flags. So with us knowing that, well, we know that when Bitcoin breaks the flag, or breaks these lines, whatever you want to whatever you want to call it, it's going to come down to 19,000. Then after it's going to go to 16,000, and then 14,000. Maybe to put a price label, and then last but not least, it'll go to 9,600. Now, worst case scenario, where do I see Bitcoin going overall? I see it going down to 6,500. As much as it is unlikely for that to happen, it is possible. I don't think it will happen, but if I had to give an absolute bottom, I would say 6,500. I don't think so. I think 9,500 is the absolute bottom. I even think 10. So anywhere between 10 to 6,500 is the absolute bottom, guys. That's where you guys would really want to start buying Bitcoin at a discount and then hold it up to whatever price to make a profit, right? But basically what you guys want to do is, with all this information that I'm giving you guys, you guys want to short Bitcoin once it gets to 25,300. Okay, this is an ideal short right here. You want to short right here. Okay, once it gets down to here, 25,300. Okay, you can short even a little bit below it, 25,100, 25,300. Then you want to keep your stop anywhere above. Let's put our stop right here, around 26,500. If you're using like 15 leverage or 20 leverage, you should be fine. It's going to be a little bit of a nice little hit if it gets stopped, if you get stopped out. But the risk to reward is so good that you can turn, let's say 5,000 to, let's say 20,000 when it gets down there, right? You can turn 2,000 to, let's say, like 8 or 10,000. Guys, the risk to reward is so good. If your stop loss gets hit over here, and let's say you lose 80% or 60% of your amount that you have in, well, yes, as much as that will hurt, but you just need to know there's a risk to reward ratio here, and the reward is so big, okay? So you guys want to short here. If you guys are using 50 leverage or big leverage to make huge gains, if you use 50 leverage and you shorted it here and it just dropped, oh my god, that'll be so juicy. But anyways, if you're using 50 leverage, I would say putting your stop loss anywhere like above it, right? Like let's say typically when you have 50 leverage, you have a liquidation, anything above $500. So I would say just put your stop loss like above, like let's say $100 to $200 above. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if it starts going up here, if you're using a little lower leverage, if it starts going up here, then you want to start loading up more, so that your entry would then change up here. Okay, then after that you'll hold it down to the descent. It looks something like this, goes down, does a little zigzag, comes down, uses it as support, breaks through it, retests it, and then dumps. I think it'll look something like this. It's not perfect, but typically that's how I think it'll do, how it'll drop down there. Now this video is getting a little too long, so now we're gonna go over why we came up with a price prediction for for 6,500. I mean, sorry, for 9,500. So we're gonna go over to this chart that I have here, and this is how we got the price prediction for 9,500. Now, as you guys can see, we have a falling wedge, okay, and what we see here is every time Bitcoin hit this yellow line, it usually dumped hard. But as we, and over here, it almost hit the line and then it dumped hard. Now guys, I was short over here at 32,000 and I ended up exiting my short like a couple days later or a week later, something like that, over here at the very top, because I'm like, you know what, if it goes up here to 34,000, now on this chart we're on the 4-hour time frame, but on the 1 day it shows that it can go up to 34,000, anywhere like 34,000, 33,000, something like that. So I exited out because I'm like, okay, well, if it does break out of this yellow line, or if it does go reach the yellow line, because on the daily it was at the yellow line at 34, then I would have to keep loading up and I might get liquidated, and I didn't mind getting liquidated. I didn't put a stop loss because I was like, this is a big reward that if I'm right, I can make good money, right? So I ended up exiting the trade right here, and guess what? My prediction was right. I had the best entry, and it freaking dropped. And at this point, I already this is when I had this wedge drawn, so I knew we're going to 9,500. I knew we're going to 9,500, but I ended up exiting it. But if I just had that entry, man, oh man, and I just kept holding it, until we get to 9,500, that would have been juicy. But yeah, guys, so this is the entire short right here. I mean, sorry, this is the entire prediction. We have a falling wedge, right? It's been respected a lot. Resistance, 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 resistance. And over here, it did not use it as resistance. It kind of flipped over, used it as support, and pumped. But we're also at that bottom end of the bottom end of the wedge, where it tried using that as resistance but broke. Now it can retest and go up, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna just come down with strong volume, and then we'll be headed to 9,500. First, of course, 19, then 16, and then 14, and then 9,500. And absolute bottom would be 6,500. But yeah, guys, that is the whole thing. I just wanted to keep you guys posted and let the Moon Boys know that they don't even have a clue what they're talking about. Okay, you see all these YouTube channels like BitBoy and all these idiots just making videos when they don't know anything about the market. They just, I don't know, I really don't get it. But yeah, guys, so that's the whole, that's the entire analysis. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is we have the S&P 500. Now, we went over this on our previous video. We said that if it can use this as resistance, but worst case scenario, it will come down to it will come up to this red line, and that'll be an ideal short, an ideal time to short the market. Right, or you can short the S&P minis, right, the dash ES. But yeah, guys, the market is about to drop hard. If you guys like these type of videos, comment, subscribe, leave a like so I can make more videos like this. And yeah, guys, have a wonderful day. Take care and bye.